Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 14313 Southeast Cedar Avenue here in Milwaukee. We're located inside the garage, kind of up against the left wall here. We have a 3-inch ABS cleanout as our point of access. We're going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. We currently have water running up ahead. We're going to keep the camera moving pretty quickly here. We have to pass through the entire crawl space before getting outside the house. Now it looks like we have a little bit of standing water there. It looks very minimal. We'll take a look at that on the way out. But when I stop the camera up here, it's down around, like a 1/16 of an inch. It takes some pretty large debris to hang up in a spot like that. At that level there, you're just about if anything's gonna stick there, it's gonna stick almost anywhere else in the line. Yeah, we have it actually looks like almost a T connection rather than a Y connection. We may not be able to go past this point here, at least going the way we want to. Alrighty, I got the camera through the turn there. I had to tie some string to the end of it and bend it around the corner. So you're going to see an orange string here, and it's a long one, so just keep that in mind. It's not a root. Now this joint here at about 41 feet out is showing signs of separation. Without being able to look inside that joint there, it's really hard to verify whether it's actually open to the ground or not. These pieces of pipe have a bell housing, so there is some overlap with a male and female end, so it's possible. Sometimes people just install them that way and they just don't butt the ends of the pipe up tight together, so it's kind of hard to say. Just transition there over to, it looks like transite concrete, appears to be 4-inch diameter. I'm going to go locate the camera head to see how close we are to the main. It's getting very, very hard to push since we just went past that big turn there. Yeah, this is going to be the stopping point here. We're able to get a little bit further, but the camera is just not making it over this little hump here. I'm going to give it a few more shoves to see if it is able to crest the top of this thing here. It might start moving, but I'm wailing on this thing and it's not hardly moving at all. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stop up there. I'm just risking breaking the camera at this point. I'm going to go locate. We should be fairly close. I just found where there's a big green paint marking just down the road, which is generally indicating sewer, which is right about in the middle of the street. At this point here, we're probably about 8 feet or so short of the main. All right, locate the camera head here. We're out in the street at this point, and going off the paint marking in the roadway, we're right around 6 to 8 feet short of the main here. We're very, very close. Now we're going to let the line drain out completely here for just a moment before reeling back in. All right, we are down to just a trickle at this point. I'm going to go ahead and start reeling the camera in. And that's all the string there we had to push down the end of the line. Get the camera to make a turn. Now this transite concrete is cool stuff. It has asbestos fibers in it rather than aggregate rock like the average concrete does, like this driveway here in this house does, which you can see at this point is pretty worn and tattered. This stuff does not have that, and it holds up for a very long time. And typically the joints hold up much longer than the average house as well. Or, I'm sorry, the average line. A little bit of standing water here, nothing at all significant, just barely even a 1/16 of an inch. Typically you don't see toilet paper and stuff hanging up till you have at least 5 feet of pipe with at least an inch of standing water. Then we're coming back through the cast iron at this point. The concrete pipe there we scoped, and again we stopped about 6 to 8 feet short out in the roadway. That's where the pipe is the safest, it's the furthest away from trees, and at this point with the hard slope that thing has, I mean it's just diving down there like a dive bomber at this point. So grade is should not be an issue whatsoever leading out to that, and by that I mean bellies. The only thing at that point you have to worry about would just be condition of pipe and the possibility of roots getting in. But that's out in the middle of the street. If we haven't had roots punching through by the time we hit the roadway, it's extremely unlikely that they ever would. And I don't know if there's any trees out here that are even anywhere near that size. That line by the time it hits the main is somewhere around, 15 to 20 feet deep. It is just dives, dives, dives. Now we have that joint here. I think we just went past it. Now it looks like there is some separation. I don't see any dirt coming through, any roots, anything that's indicating that it's open to the ground. So for that reason, I'm not going to recommend any repair there. It's not terribly uncommon for someone to not have butted a joint up tight, but it could still be leaded shut with solder. So unless I can confirm something's going on there, it's, in my opinion, not worth doing a whole bunch of repairs. Now the flow line in the cast iron pipe here is a little rough and bumpy, but I'm hardly seeing any toilet paper, any debris throughout the line there. So it doesn't look like it's wearing, it just looks rough and bumpy for whatever reason. I cannot tell. Whatever it is, it's hard and doesn't look like it's something that's going to scrape off of there. Anyhow, we're coming back to the crawl space, reeling the camera all the way out of the line. We have good flow all the way to the main lateral, or at least to about 6 to 8 feet short of the main lateral. I see no indication of any flow issues up ahead of that. All the ABS, cast iron, and concrete pipe we scoped are in good shape. Sewer line is functioning properly at this time. It's a very, very clean line. There was hardly a speck of anything in the pipe. Now it doesn't appear that there's a secondary clean out. So ideally you get another clean out put in. That's not really for me to say, but it would be a good idea. If you ever had to drain clean this line, it would be very difficult to get around that corner. You can't tie a string to everything and bend around the corners. But you probably have to either pull a toilet or go through a vent or something like that. Anyway, all the way out to about 6 to 8 feet short of the main, line's looking good.